Ladies and gentlemen, let me begin by shaking your mind awake. The only person standing between where you are and where you're destined to be is YOU. You have been taught to think about everyone else first, to sacrifice your dreams for approval, to shrink your vision so no one feels uncomfortable around you. But today, I'm here to tell you, if you want to live a life of purpose, wealth, and influence, you must become obsessed with YOU. Not in a selfish way, but in a way that honors the God-given potential placed inside you. You are your greatest investment because everything you desire to achieve in life flows from who you are becoming. The dreams in your heart, the visions in your mind, and the opportunities you hope for are all tied to your personal growth. If you neglect yourself, you are neglecting the very foundation on which your future is built. Many people work tirelessly to acquire things, to gain recognition, or to achieve success, but they forget that their level of success will never exceed their level of personal development. The greatest wealth you will ever build is the wealth you store inside yourself, and the return on that investment will always be greater than anything you could place in the stock market or a business venture, because you are the source of every outcome you create. When you choose to invest in yourself, you are saying yes to a life of expansion. You are choosing to sharpen your mind, strengthen your character, and develop the resilience to navigate challenges with power. Growth doesn't happen by accident, it happens by intention. You can't expect your dreams to manifest if you are not willing to become the kind of person who can sustain them. Investing in yourself is not just about money, it's about time, discipline, focus, and dedication to mastering the skills and habits that will elevate your life. Every book you read, every new skill you learn, and every decision you make to grow creates a ripple effect that changes the trajectory of your future. Your value is not static. It increases as you increase. Too often, people wait for opportunities to come before they prepare themselves. But the truth is, opportunities come to those who are already prepared. The more you invest in your mind, your heart, and your abilities, the more you will attract opportunities you once thought were out of your reach. People pay for value, and when you become a person of exceptional value, the world will respond to you differently. If you want to change your external reality, you must first change your internal reality. That transformation requires a commitment to see yourself as a priority worth developing. Self-investment requires courage because it demands you step out of comfort and into growth. Comfort zones are the graveyards of potential. They keep you trapped in cycles of mediocrity. When you choose to pour into yourself, you break free from those cycles and step into a mindset of abundance. Investing in yourself means being willing to make sacrifices today to build a better tomorrow. It means choosing learning over leisure, discipline over distraction, and growth over gratification. It's a declaration that your future matters more than temporary comfort. And that declaration sets you apart from the crowd. When you truly understand that you are your greatest investment, you stop waiting for someone else to validate you. You stop depending on external circumstances to dictate your worth. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. Every dollar you spend on your personal growth multiplies because it changes the way you think, and your thoughts determine your destiny. The most successful people in the world are not necessarily the most talented. They are the ones who made a conscious decision to invest in themselves until they became unstoppable. Investing in yourself also means protecting your environment and choosing carefully who you surround yourself with. Your growth can be slowed or accelerated based on the people you allow into your life. When you understand your value, you no longer settle for relationships or environments that drain you. You begin to place yourself in spaces where you are challenged, inspired, and pushed to expand. You start seeking wisdom and mentorship from those who have gone ahead of you, and their insights save you time, energy, and costly mistakes. Another layer of self-investment is mastering your emotional state. Emotional intelligence is one of the most powerful assets you can develop because it equips you to handle adversity with grace and strength. Life will test you, circumstances will shake you, and people will misunderstand you. But when you have invested in your mental and emotional stability, you become unshakable. You stop reacting to life and start responding with intention. This level of control makes you a leader because leaders are those who can remain steady while the world around them is chaotic. Your health is also a critical part of this investment. A sharp mind needs a strong body to carry out the vision it holds. Many people chase wealth while neglecting their health. But what good is success if you don't have the strength to enjoy it? Investing in yourself means honoring your body, fueling it with the right nutrition, and treating it as a vessel for greatness. When you take care of your body, your energy increases, your focus sharpens, and your productivity multiplies. The more you value yourself, the more intentional you become about how you treat every part of yourself. Investing in yourself is not a one-time act. It is a lifelong commitment. You will never arrive at a point where you no longer need to grow because growth is a journey without a final destination. Every new level of success requires a new version of you, and that means continuous learning, adapting, and stretching. You can't expect to reach new heights with old habits, and you can't expect to live a life of abundance with a mindset of scarcity. The journey to becoming your best self is ongoing, and every step you take compounds over time to create extraordinary results. The greatest thing about investing in yourself is that no one can take it away from you. Money can be lost, possessions can be stolen, opportunities can disappear, but the wisdom, discipline, skills, and confidence you build remain with you forever. You carry your investment everywhere you go, and it becomes the foundation for every door you open and every life you impact. The world needs the best version of you, and that version can only emerge when you choose to treat yourself as the most valuable asset you own. Responsibility unlocks greatness because it shifts the power of your life back into your own hands. The moment you take full ownership of your choices, your actions, and your results, you eliminate excuses and open the door to transformation. Many people spend their lives blaming circumstances, other people, or their past for why they are not where they want to be, but blame is a trap that keeps you powerless. Responsibility says that no matter what has happened to you, you have the authority to determine what happens next. It gives you the strength to stop waiting for someone to rescue you and start building the life you desire with what you already have. Taking responsibility means you stop living as a victim of life and start living as a creator. A victim says, I can't because, but a creator says, I will find a way. This shift in mindset separates those who remain stuck from those who rise to greatness. When you take responsibility, you realize that life is not about fairness, it is about stewardship. You may not have chosen your starting point, but you are always responsible for how far you go. This mindset makes you unstoppable because instead of focusing on problems, you focus on solutions. Instead of being paralyzed by obstacles, you become empowered to overcome them. Responsibility requires courage because it forces you to confront yourself. It makes you look in the mirror and see that your habits, decisions, and beliefs are shaping your reality. It is easy to point fingers outward, but greatness demands that you first point them inward. Taking ownership of your life can feel uncomfortable at first because it strips away excuses and forces you to face hard truths. But it is in this discomfort that growth begins. Every great leader, every successful person, and every person of influence had to take this same journey of self-responsibility, and it is the foundation on which their success was built. When you embrace responsibility, you gain control over your destiny. You stop being tossed around by external circumstances and start making intentional choices that align with your goals. Many people live their lives waiting for perfect conditions to act, but perfect conditions will never come. Responsibility empowers you to take action where you are with what you have and trust that every step forward compounds over time. The moment you stop waiting for others to change, for circumstances to align, or for luck to show up, you unlock the ability to create your own opportunities. Responsibility also builds character because it forces you to develop discipline, integrity, and perseverance. When you own your actions, you begin to value consistency over convenience. You understand that greatness is not built overnight, but through daily choices that align with your vision. Responsibility keeps you grounded because it teaches you that your results are not random. They are a reflection of the seeds you plant and nurture. This realization gives you both power and humility because you understand that every success you achieve is the outcome of what you've sown, and every failure is an opportunity to learn and adjust. Embracing responsibility transforms your relationships because you stop expecting others to fulfill what only you can provide for yourself. You stop blaming others for your unhappiness, your setbacks, or your limitations. Instead, you take charge of your emotional state, your reactions, and your growth. This not only empowers you, but also earns the respect of others, because people are naturally drawn to those who take ownership of their lives. Leaders are not those who control others, but those who have mastered themselves. And that mastery begins with responsibility. When you live a life of responsibility, you begin to see challenges differently. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to teach me? Responsibility reframes adversity as an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more capable. The very obstacles you once saw as setbacks become stepping stones to your greatness because you have chosen to take ownership of how you respond to them. This shift in perspective is what separates champions from the average, because champions understand that every difficulty carries within it the seed of an opportunity. Responsibility also builds confidence because it reminds you that you are in control of your outcomes. When you know that your results are tied to your actions, you gain the courage to take risks, make bold moves, and pursue your vision with relentless determination. You stop living in fear because you understand that even if you make mistakes, you have the ability to correct them and grow from them. Every time you take ownership, you strengthen your ability to trust yourself, and this self-trust becomes the foundation of your confidence. Taking responsibility sets you free because it breaks the chains of dependency on others to make your life better. You no longer wait for external validation or for someone to give you permission to succeed. You understand that your future is your responsibility and no one else's, which frees you from the fear of judgment and the weight of comparison. When you take responsibility for your life, you create a sense of empowerment that cannot be shaken by circumstances because you know that you have the power to adapt, pivot, and keep moving forward no matter what comes your way. Ultimately, responsibility unlocks greatness because it forces you to rise to the level of your calling. It demands that you hold yourself to higher standards, that you stop settling for mediocrity, and that you become intentional about every choice you make. When you take full ownership of your life, you stop wasting energy on things you cannot control and start focusing on the things you can. You begin to understand that greatness is not a destination. It is the daily decision to take responsibility for your growth, your future, and the legacy you will leave behind. Self focuses stewardship, not selfishness, because it is about honoring the life, gifts, and opportunities you have been entrusted with. Many people grow up believing that focusing on themselves is wrong or egotistical. But the truth is that when you neglect yourself, you are unable to fully show up for others. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot lead others from a place of weakness. Taking time to invest in your growth, health, and mindset is an act of responsibility because it allows you to be more effective in your relationships, your work, and your calling. Stewardship is about managing well what has been given to you, and the first thing you have been given to manage is yourself. When you focus on yourself in a healthy way, you begin to understand your worth and your purpose. You stop living reactively and start living intentionally. Instead of drifting through life, hoping that things will change, you take control of your habits, your decisions, and your energy. Self-focus does not mean ignoring the needs of others. It means making sure that you are equipped and prepared to meet those needs without burning yourself out. A steward understands that their life is valuable, and because it is valuable, it must be cared for and cultivated. When you focus on yourself, you are not withdrawing from your responsibilities. You are strengthening your ability to fulfill them. Self-focus is the foundation of personal growth because it allows you to identify your strengths, weaknesses, and areas of opportunity. Too often, people pour themselves into serving others while completely neglecting their own dreams and potential. They end up resentful, drained, and unfulfilled because they never took the time to develop themselves. True stewardship requires self-awareness, and self-awareness begins when you take time to reflect, to heal, and to grow. This is not selfishness, it is preparation. A person who invests in themselves becomes more valuable to every person they encounter because they carry wisdom, stability, and confidence that others can depend on. When you learn to focus on yourself, you begin to guard your time and energy with wisdom. You stop saying yes to everything out of guilt or obligation and start saying yes only to what aligns with your values and vision. This is stewardship because your time is a limited resource, and every moment you waste on distractions or meaningless obligations is a moment you cannot get back. Self-focus teaches you the importance of setting boundaries so that your energy is reserved for what truly matters. By protecting your energy, you ensure that when you give to others, you are giving your best rather than what is left over after neglecting yourself. Focusing on yourself also means investing in your spiritual, emotional, and mental well-being. Many people chase external success while ignoring the internal work that sustains it. They achieve milestones but feel empty because they never developed a strong foundation. Self-focus ensures that your growth is balanced. It means you take the time to renew your mind, strengthen your faith, and heal from past wounds so that your success is not built on a shaky foundation. This kind of intentional growth is not about ego. It is about ensuring that your life is stable and strong enough to handle greater responsibility. When you prioritize yourself, you set an example for others of what it looks like to live with integrity and purpose. People are inspired by those who lead themselves well. When others see you taking care of your body, guarding your peace, and pursuing excellence, it gives them permission to do the same. Stewardship is not just about your personal benefit, it's about multiplying your impact. By becoming the best version of yourself, you create a ripple effect that empowers others to rise to their own potential. This is why self-focus is not selfish. It is an act of leadership. Self-focus also challenges you to take responsibility for your emotions and actions instead of blaming others for your state of mind. When you realize that you are in control of your responses, you stop allowing other people's behavior to dictate your peace. This creates emotional strength that not only benefits you, but also improves your relationships. People who are emotionally stable are able to handle conflict, stress, and challenges with grace because they have done the internal work required to lead themselves first. By mastering yourself, you create an environment of peace and stability that positively impacts everyone connected to you. The world often glorifies business and sacrifice to the point where people lose themselves trying to please everyone else. True stewardship is about breaking free from that cycle and realizing that your health, your peace, and your growth are non-negotiable. When you focus on yourself, you are not abandoning your responsibilities. You are protecting your ability to fulfill them with excellence. Sacrificing your well-being for others may feel noble, but in the long run, it leads to burnout, resentment, and missed opportunities. Stewardship requires balance, and balance requires intentional self-focus. Investing in yourself is also about recognizing the gifts and talents you carry and developing them to their fullest potential. You were not given your abilities to bury them. You were given them to multiply and make an impact. This is why self-focus is essential. It allows you to refine your skills, sharpen your mind, and build the confidence to step boldly into your purpose. The more you develop yourself, the more equipped you are to serve and inspire others. You become a blessing not just because of what you do for people, but because of the example you set through your life. Ultimately, focusing on yourself allows you to live a life of intentionality rather than survival. It empowers you to create a vision, set goals, and take steps toward the future you were created for. People who do not take time to focus on themselves often drift aimlessly, hoping that life will somehow work out. But those who are good stewards of themselves understand that their growth is their responsibility, and no one else can do it for them. By prioritizing yourself, you are not being selfish. You are honoring the life you have been given, building a foundation for lasting success, and creating the capacity to impact others in ways you never thought possible. Your mind determines your reality because everything you experience externally is first shaped internally. The life you live is a reflection of the thoughts you allow to dominate your mind. Every belief you hold, every decision you make, and every habit you form begins as a thought. If your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and limitations, your life will reflect those same patterns. But if your mind is filled with vision, faith, and confidence, your life will begin to align with that mindset. The quality of your thoughts determines the quality of your reality, and no amount of external effort can override a mind that is filled with defeat. The first battleground for success is not in your circumstances, but in your thinking. And until you transform the way you think, your life will always mirror the limitations of your mind. Your thoughts shape your perception, and your perception shapes your actions. Two people can face the exact same situation, but their responses will differ based on what they believe about themselves and the world. A mind that has been trained to see opportunity will always find a way forward, while a mind that is conditioned to expect failure will always find a reason to quit. This is why mindset is more important than talent, connections, or even resources. You can take everything away from a person with a strong mindset and they will rebuild from nothing. But someone with a defeated mindset will lose everything, even if you give them every advantage. Your reality is not dictated by what you have, but by how you think about what you have. Your mind acts like a filter, constantly interpreting and assigning meaning to the experiences you go through. If your mind is filled with negative beliefs, you will see challenges as threats, and they will paralyze you. But if your mind is trained to see challenges as opportunities, you will grow stronger with every obstacle you face. The same event can either destroy you or develop you based on how your mind chooses to process it. This is why it is crucial to guard your thoughts and to be intentional about what you feed your mind. The books you read, the conversations you engage in, and the content you consume all shape your perspective, and your perspective shapes your destiny. Your thoughts also determine your identity. You will always act in a way that aligns with what you believe about yourself. If you see yourself as unworthy or incapable, you will subconsciously sabotage opportunities because they don't match your internal belief system. But when you see yourself as valuable, capable, and destined for greatness, you will begin to make decisions that align with that belief. Your identity is not formed by your external achievements. Your external achievements are formed by your internal identity. The more you develop your mind, the more your life begins to rise to match the picture you hold of yourself. The mind has the power to either imprison you or set you free. Many people are trapped not by their circumstances, but by their thoughts about their circumstances. They believe that because they failed once, they are failures, or because they struggled in the past, they will always struggle. These beliefs become mental chains that keep them from reaching their potential. The truth is that your past does not define you, but if your mind clings to it, it will limit your future. Freedom begins with a renewed mind, because the way you see yourself and your possibilities determines the level of action you are willing to take. Your mind also controls your emotions, and your emotions influence your decisions. If your thoughts are filled with fear, anxiety, and self-doubt, your decisions will reflect that. Fearful thinking leads to hesitation, procrastination, and missed opportunities, while confident thinking leads to bold action and progress. Emotions are powerful, but they are not independent. They are the result of your thoughts. By mastering your mind, you gain mastery over your emotions. And by mastering your emotions, you gain mastery over your actions. This is why mental discipline is one of the most important skills you can ever develop, because every great achievement begins with a decision, and every decision is influenced by thought. The mind also creates patterns, and those patterns become habits. What you repeatedly think about becomes what you expect, and what you expect becomes what you act on. This is why some people seem to attract success while others constantly struggle. It is not luck, it is mindset. A person who consistently thinks in terms of growth, opportunity, and abundance will act in alignment with those thoughts, while a person who thinks in terms of scarcity, fear, and limitation will sabotage their progress without even realizing it. Your thoughts are planting seeds every day, and your life is the harvest of those seeds. Training your mind is not a one-time action. It is a daily practice. The same way your body needs exercise to stay strong, your mind needs intentional conditioning to stay sharp. If you don't deliberately train your mind, the world will train it for you, filling it with fear, distractions, and limiting beliefs. You must take control of your mental environment just as you would take control of your physical environment. This means surrounding yourself with people, information, and experiences that elevate your thinking and push you to see beyond your current circumstances. Your imagination is also a reflection of your mind's power. Every invention, every breakthrough, and every transformation in history began as a thought in someone's mind. What you allow yourself to imagine determines what you will pursue, and what you pursue determines what you create. If your mind cannot see it, your hands cannot build it. This is why visionaries seem to live in a different reality. They have trained their minds to see possibility where others only see limitation. Your imagination is not fantasy, it is the blueprint for your future. Your reality is always a reflection of your mind's dominant focus. If you constantly focus on problems, you will magnify them, but if you focus on solutions, you will find them. If you focus on what you lack, your life will feel empty, but if you focus on what you have, you will feel abundant. The mind is like a magnet, and it attracts what you dwell on most. The most powerful decision you can ever make is to take control of your thoughts, because the moment you do, your life begins to shift. You cannot create a new future with the same old mindset, and you cannot rise to greatness with thoughts of defeat. By renewing your mind daily, you change your reality from the inside out. Personal growth creates impact because the transformation you cultivate within yourself naturally overflows into everything and everyone around you. When you choose to grow, you are not just changing your own life, you are influencing the lives of those who witness your journey. Growth is contagious because people are inspired by progress. When they see you becoming more disciplined, more confident, more focused, and more intentional, it challenges them to rise higher as well. This is why focusing on your personal growth is one of the greatest acts of service you can offer to the world. By becoming the best version of yourself, you give others permission to do the same, and this creates a ripple effect that extends far beyond what you can see. Growth begins with a decision to not settle for who you were yesterday. Many people live their entire lives on autopilot, repeating the same patterns and expecting different results. But the moment you choose to grow, you disrupt that cycle. This decision doesn't just affect your future. It impacts your family, your community, and your environment. When you choose to invest in your mind, develop your skills, and elevate your mindset, you position yourself to create opportunities not only for yourself, but for others as well. The better you become, the more you are able to contribute, lead, and make a difference in the lives of those who depend on you. Your personal growth also expands your capacity. When you grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, you increase your ability to handle challenges, lead others, and make wise decisions. People who fail to grow remain limited, and those limitations are reflected in the opportunities they can seize. But as you grow, you become more capable of taking on greater responsibilities, solving more complex problems, and creating lasting change. Growth makes you a leader, even if you don't hold a formal title, because leadership is about influence, and influence comes from the value you bring to others. The more you grow, the more valuable you become to every space you enter. One of the most powerful ways personal growth creates impact is through example. People are more likely to follow what they see than what they hear. When they see you pursuing excellence, maintaining discipline, and prioritizing your development, it silently encourages them to do the same. Your life becomes a message, and your growth becomes a testimony that inspires others to believe that transformation is possible. Many people are waiting for proof that they can change, and when they see you evolving, it becomes a powerful confirmation that they can too. Your growth is not just for you, it becomes a light for others. Personal growth also deepens your empathy and compassion. When you intentionally work on yourself, you begin to understand your own struggles, insecurities, and flaws on a deeper level, which makes you more compassionate toward others. You develop patience with people because you recognize that growth is a process and not everyone is at the same stage. This empathy makes your impact even stronger because people draw those who can lead with both strength and understanding. Growth helps you develop the emotional intelligence needed to influence others positively, build stronger relationships, and create environments where others feel seen and valued. Growth creates impact because it multiplies your ability to add value. The more you grow, the more solutions you can offer, the more opportunities you can create, and the more wisdom you can share. Someone who has invested years into their growth carries insights that can save others time, energy, and pain. Your personal development equips you to become a resource, a mentor, or an inspiration to others who are on their own journey. This multiplication effect means that your growth doesn't just elevate your life, it elevates the lives of countless people you may never even meet. Your growth leaves a legacy that continues to inspire long after you are gone. Personal growth also positions you for leadership because true leaders are those who have first learned to lead themselves. You cannot guide others effectively if you have not done the work to discipline yourself, master your mindset, and overcome your own limitations. People naturally follow those who have done the hard work of self-mastery because they trust their example. The more you grow, the more you become a person of influence, and influence is what creates lasting change. Leadership is not about control, it is about inspiration, and growth gives you the authority to inspire others through your life. Your personal growth impacts your environment because when you change, everything around you changes. The conversations you engage in shift, the relationships you cultivate evolve, and the opportunities that come your way increase. This is because your energy, your perspective, and your decisions all change as you grow. People who refuse to grow often remain in environments that limit them, but when you grow, you elevate not only yourself, but also the spaces you occupy. Growth attracts growth, and as you evolve, you naturally draw others who are on the same path of transformation, creating a powerful network of impact and influence. Growth also creates resilience, and resilience inspires others. When people see you overcome obstacles, push through adversity, and come out stronger, it shows them what's possible. Your personal growth equips you to handle storms with grace, and this inspires those who are watching to persevere in their own challenges. Resilience is one of the greatest impacts you can have because it demonstrates that strength is not about avoiding pain, but about rising above it. Every time you grow through a struggle, you create a blueprint for others to follow, and that blueprint becomes a source of hope for those who feel stuck. Ultimately, personal growth creates impact because it allows you to fulfill your purpose on a greater scale. You were not created to remain stagnant. You were created to grow, multiply, and leave a mark on the world. Every investment you make in yourself compounds over time. not just for your benefit, but for everyone connected to you. Your family, your community, and even future generations will be shaped by the work you choose to do on yourself today. Growth is never just about you. It's about the lives that are waiting to be touched by the person you are becoming. Transformation starts from within because lasting change can never be sustained if it only happens on the surface. Many people try to alter their lives by changing external circumstances, switching environments, or rearranging their routines. But real transformation is an internal process that begins with a shift in mindset and identity. You cannot expect to live a different life without first becoming a different person. What happens inside of you eventually manifests outside of you, which is why true growth cannot be faked or rushed. It is a deep, intentional process of rewiring your thoughts, reshaping your beliefs, and redefining how you see yourself. Change that starts within is powerful because it creates stability. When you only focus on altering your circumstances without changing your mindset, you are building your life on a shaky foundation. External success without internal growth is fragile because the moment pressure comes, everything collapses. But when you transform from the inside out, your results are unshakable because they are rooted in character, self-discipline, and mental resilience. This is why many people rise quickly only to fall just as fast. They worked on their image, but not their identity. Internal transformation ensures that your growth is sustainable because it changes the very core of who you are. Transformation begins with awareness. You cannot change what you are not willing to acknowledge. Many people live their entire lives blaming their circumstances or other people, never realizing that their greatest limitation is their own mindset. When you take the time to self-reflect and examine your thoughts, habits, and behaviors, you open the door to true growth. Awareness is not always comfortable because it forces you to confront your flaws and weaknesses, but it is necessary. It is in this process of facing yourself honestly that you find the keys to becoming your best self. True transformation requires a renewal of the mind because your thoughts shape your reality. The beliefs you hold about yourself dictate how you act, how you respond to challenges, and what opportunities you pursue. If you do not change your thinking, you will continue to recreate the same experiences, no matter how much you try to change your environment. Transformation is not about running from problems. It is about developing the strength and wisdom to rise above them. When your mind changes, your actions naturally follow, and when your actions change, your results change. Internal transformation also involves healing. Many people try to achieve success while carrying unhealed wounds from their past. These wounds create self-sabotage, fear, and insecurity that block their growth. Healing is a crucial part of transformation because it allows you to release pain, forgive yourself and others, and step forward without being weighed down by yesterday. It is a process of breaking free from limiting beliefs and emotional baggage that keep you stuck. Once healing begins, your vision becomes clearer, your confidence grows, and you can move forward with greater purpose and strength. Another key part of transformation is discipline. Many want to change their lives, but lack the consistency to see that change through. Transformation from within is not a one-time decision. It is a daily commitment. It is choosing to do the hard work of building new habits, breaking old patterns, and aligning your actions with your vision even when it's uncomfortable. Discipline rewires your character and proves to yourself that you are capable of more than you thought. The more consistent you are, the more your mind, body, and spirit align with the future you are creating. Transformation also requires faith in the unseen. When you begin to change internally, you may not see results immediately, but that doesn't mean nothing is happening. Seeds grow underground long before they break the surface, and personal growth is no different. The process of transformation often feels slow because it is changing you at a foundational level. You are learning patience, building resilience, and developing strength that will sustain you in the future. Internal transformation teaches you to trust the process and believe in the vision even when your current reality hasn't caught up yet. When you transform internally, your external environment begins to shift naturally. You attract different opportunities, relationships, and experiences because you are operating at a higher level of awareness and confidence. People are drawn to those who radiate authenticity and strength, and that only comes from inner work. Transformation changes your energy and your presence. It makes you someone who influences environments rather than being controlled by them. This is why internal growth is far more powerful than superficial changes. It gives you the ability to lead and impact others from a place of genuine authority. Transformation also demands that you take responsibility for your life. No one else can do the work for you, and no one else is coming to save you. The moment you stop blaming and start owning your choices, you unlock the ability to create real change. Internal transformation teaches you that your life is a reflection of your decisions. And if you want a better future, you must become a better version of yourself. This level of responsibility is freeing because it means you are no longer at the mercy of your past or your circumstances. You have the power to shape your reality. At its core, transformation is a journey of becoming. It is not about achieving perfection, but about continuously evolving into the person you were meant to be. This process is ongoing because every level of growth prepares you for greater challenges and opportunities. The person you are today is not yet equipped for the dreams you have tomorrow, which is why transformation never ends. Each time you grow internally, you unlock new levels of potential and step closer to fulfilling your purpose. Transformation starts from within because who you are becoming is the foundation of everything you will ever create.